Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up a ringside seat, get your soda, your popcorn, your whiskey, get everything you need. Because it's story time with the WWE, baby.
Well, the first thing I'm going to get is my voice. I need to pack that in because I'm a little bit hoarse here. You know, had a little weekend away, had a little fun in the sun, had a little time away, but I left my voice where I was visiting. So I'm going to try and hold it together here and keep the conversation going with as much verbal activity as I can give you.
And from the stories that I've heard, your liver is thankful that you're home.
It was until tonight, right? So up until maybe let's call it 3 sips ago, my poor liver had almost recovered. Now it's back time to beating on it again. So hold on, liver, give me one more night.
Speaking of that, let's give a shout out to our sponsor this week. We got Doc Holliday, aged 8 years.
You
Kentucky.
said Doc Hot today?
Doc Hot today.
It's damn hot today.
Aged 8 years, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's hot. It's hot. Hot.
It's scorching. But again, like I said, I've been preconditioned this weekend, so I can pretty much handle anything at this point. I'm pretty sure over the weekend at some point I drank straight fire. So I mean, it can't be no worse than that, right?
Love it. Also, before we get too far down the road here in our podcast, we need to take a beat and mention that next week we will be not putting out a new episode. So next week, taking a vacation off of the podcast for just a week. So definitely go back next week, find your favorite episode in an archive, and take a listen.
There you go. It's a good week to play some catch up.
We got 190 episodes out there. This will be 191 for this one. So you got plenty to choose.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot in there. My recommendation would be look around like February 2024-ish. Look in that March 2024. Because, I mean, we were going back and forth on that WrestleMania 40 nonsense. Yeah, we had some good battles here.
That was some good stuff, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But we got some stories that we got to talk about this week. It's story time. And the first story that we're going to start off with is a unfortunate story.
The curse of the WWE Women's Championship.
So this belt...
Let's tell the story.
It started off with Rhea Ripley. Rhea holding on to the belt and mysteriously being off of our TV, even though she was still champion.
Yeah. For quite a while, too.
Yeah,
I mean, past the 30-day title defense.
True.
Mark.
Then we were told that she's going to be out indefinitely.
Yeah, she had a little injury.
As we were leading up to SummerSlam.
Yeah, which they tried to hold. I mean, they held 100 days thinking that she might make it back. And at this point now, after 100 days, if you say indefinitely, that kind of makes me worried. Like, do we even know when that end date is? Yeah.
So
is she pregnant?
No.
Oh, okay.
So then we move on to the interim champ business. And they have a 5-way ladders match to crown a new interim WWE Women's Champ. Won by Chelsea Green.
Yep, she won it and gave us just enough time to record an episode to celebrate her and talk about how excited we were to see her defend it and come out every week. And we said, well, it's good they put it on her because she's going to be there every week, right?
Right.
That's what we said.
Yeah,
how'd that hold up?
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, that didn't age well. This whiskey definitely aged better than that conversation because that failed.
Chelsea Green is potentially out. We don't know yet. We don't know how long, what's going to happen, but she's got an orbital bone fracture. So now you've got 2 people that have had attachment to this belt that are out. Somebody please go give Danhausen some human monies because I feel like he's cursed this belt.
Well, I need them to make a 3rd interim championship at this point now.
Wait. A interim to the interim.
Exactly.
To the champion.
I need a 3rd championship to be made. Now, so because we had 5 women in the ladder match, right? Yes. I needed to get to a point where all 5 of those women are interim champion. I need them to all get one. We saw Charlotte Flair beat Jade Cargill recently in a one-on-one match.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was that's a different story for another day. That was as good old JR, who we wish great success on his operation today. We wish him all the best of luck.
Absolutely.
But in the words of the good old JR, that was bowl and shoe ugly.
Yeah.
That match I was watching it. Obviously, I didn't watch it live because I was 3 sheets to the wind, as they say, at the time that was happening live. But when I got home, I took a gander at it, yesterday and the day before, and I'm like, what the hell happened here? I wasn't sure if I had been drunk or if they had been drunk on Friday. Somebody was drinking.
The last 3 moves, I ain't going to pin that on either one of them that botched that. It's just the last 3 moves.
That whole match was just awkward.
It was just out of sync. It was really, really bad. Look, everybody can have a bad night at the office. I get it. It happens. It just sucks that it happens on live TV.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I don't want to blame it on anybody specific. So one, Charlotte was doing moves that she wasn't familiar with, right? She was playing outside of her playbook. Jade, apparently they never practiced it before because either that or they over practiced it before.
Though, honestly, the way Jade was moving in some of that, I don't know that she's been in the ring with somebody the stature of Charlotte.
Well, she's been in there with Rhea. I mean,
Rhea's smaller compared to now.
Not much smaller.
Now, Rhea 2 years ago, Rhea used to be built.
True, but I mean height-wise and things like that.
But I think it was like, now look, Jade's got an impressive physique, and I'm not questioning how much she could lift. But at the same time, it was the momentum of somebody the size of Charlotte kind of flipping.
I think there was some
shoulders.
of that. So in the power bomb spot, if you notice, so you got to look at it because I had to rewind to look at it again because I'm like, how did this get flubbed up so bad? But like Charlotte didn't push to get in the power bomb. Normally she pushes off the other girl's legs. She didn't do any of that. So I mean, Jade straight deadlifted her up there. But when Charlotte got up there and went to do the float over, I don't know what was supposed to happen there. I don't know if she expected Charlotte to get down faster, or I don't know if she held Charlotte up too long when she started going back. But yeah, it just started going to shit there. And I mean, it never recovered after that.
It was all bad.
Yeah, bowl and shoe ugly is the best word I could come up with because that was a mess.
But now that Chelsea is going to be out, the question is what do they do with this belt?
They better not take it off of Chelsea.
I mean, they didn't take it off of Rhea.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, if we let Rhea ride 110 days without getting it taken off her, we damn sure better not take it off Chelsea.
I think honestly, what needs to happen is you give Chelsea 3-4 weeks off TV. I mean, you gave Rhea 6 weeks off TV and didn't even talk about
3 months.
Yeah, so I mean, so give Chelsea 3-4 weeks off TV.
I don't know. Chelsea might come back with a mask.
That's what I'm saying. If she's
Cody's mask,
if she's up for it, come back with the mask. I mean, you had the Cody having the mask at one point because of that. Taker had a mask because of it. At one point. Carmella had a mask.
Yeah, this isn't foreign. Hell, I think Chelsea's had a mask at some point in time. I think she did the same gimmick
because of broken nose.
So I mean, she's already got one. I mean, it's not like there's not one available, but they better not take the title off her. That's all I'm saying. Because if you let Rhea slide for the entire summer, you don't take it off Chelsea after 1 week. Rhea, we don't need another Sami Zayn nonsense.
And Rhea just had surgery, so it ain't like she's right around the corner coming back.
She's a while
to be out. She just had surgery.
Yeah, at this point now, though, all the other girls on the other side, the world championship for the women, all those girls are coming back now. You had injured Stephanie Vaquer returning. You got Becky Lynch returning. You got a lot of action going on over there.
That's an interesting story too, but we won't tell that one today.
Okay, we'll stay out. We'll stay out of it for when we need.
Let's move on to the story that is being told by the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus the Viper Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. This story, I thought we were going to get a part 2 of the student and the teacher.
Oh, okay.
Like we did it, at Mania.
Uh-huh.
I thought we were going to get part 2.
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it.
No.
And I know I'm not going to get everything I want from a Cody Rhodes heel turn, but I think I might be getting a glimpse.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to knock at the door, right?
Yeah, and maybe they're gauging how are fans going to receive Cody if he goes this way.
If you think back to SummerSlam, the loud minority of IWC was crying for Cody to turn heel. Cody got to turn heel on CM Punk. It has to happen. When you look back at it, it kind of worked out better that it didn't because it would be better and it would make more sense if he did it against Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has a true vendetta. There's actually a true story there for why he would want revenge on Randy Orton and why he'd be willing to go to any length to get that revenge.
There were 3 lines that were told in this story that began on Friday Night SmackDown. The first line from Randy Orton, and that was, "I used to think it was the best version of me that was going to carry me to number 15. But now I've realized it's the worst version of me that's going to carry me to number 15.
Yeah.
So that tells me right then and there, we're about to get punt kicking Randy Orton. We're about to get, no matter what the cost is, no matter who it is, I'm going to destroy everything to get 15.
Yeah, I think at this point he's realizing that it's not as close and as easy as he thought originally. I think he's starting to realize, like, hey, Triple H didn't get to 15 for a reason. It didn't like it. Hell, he was writing it when he got to 14. So, I mean, he could have wrote himself to 17, 18, 19, 20, but his body didn't let him. His body just stopped him and just said no. And I think Randy's starting to look at the injuries and just the writing, the booking, the cast of characters he's surrounded by. And I think he's starting to realize this ain't just a gimme no more. Hell, I'm going to have to work to get to 15. I'm going to have to work to break this tie with Triple H. And it's going to take whatever he's got. You're going to have to throw the kitchen sink at it.
Yep. The other two lines that were very cool that came out of the beginning of this part of the story was Cody telling Randy, "I'm no longer the champion. I no longer am the good guy. Yeah. I no longer am held to the standards of doing good guy things.
To be the face of the company now." Which, did you notice he said that? So Cody, I need you to realize that there's still stock in being the face of the company.
I get
that
it.
Is a thing. I know you don't want it to be.
It's a thing with Cody. Let's put it that way.
It's a thing with all the top tier. It's not a thing for Sammy, right?
No,
because he was never going to be the face of the company, right?
No. The other line that Cody said to Randy, which was what I loved the most that came out of this, was, "Look around, Randy. You are the last
Now there's what I was
left.
waiting for. That's the one I was waiting for.
Who's going to be the one to put you down?
Yeah, you're the legend killer. Who's going to be the one to kill you?" That's the line I was waiting for. So that's the one that's the one
that gives me all goosebumps.
Because he's right.
He's right.
Like you said, with Brock just calling it quits in SummerSlam.
And John going out, AJ going out.
Yeah, that 2002 class that Randy came out of, he is the oldest guy. He is the last of the Mohicans hanging around now. Undertaker's gone. I mean, the guys that ushered Randy in, those guys are gone. The guys that he came in with, those guys are gone. I mean, there's just a select handful of guys still hanging around, in WWE at least. AEW's chock full of guys. So if Randy needs a place to go,
right,
there's a place to go for guys of Randy's stature. Because hell, they're all old down there. Hell, Billy Gunn's still there. Billy Gunn and Jeff Jarrett are still there. And hell, Jeff Jarrett had some 80s in his career.
They are.
So I mean, hell, there's a soft landing space, but I don't think Randy is that kind of guy. I think Randy's a WWE lifer, so when his career is over, I think he hangs around WWE. But at this stage now, he is the last of his kind in WWE. Brock was still there, but Brock was a unique case. Randy was still the week-to-week guy, and there ain't no more week-to-week guys that look like Randy. Randy is that one. And somebody eventually is going to have to end that for Randy, because with the injuries and all that he's had going on lately, the sand's damn sure at the end, closer to the end than it is at the top.
So I'm excited to see what is going to happen between these two guys, because now I kind of get the feeling that I'm going to get to see the Cody Rhodes that was the KO combatant, like he was the AJ Styles fixing to hit him with the steel steps kind of Cody Rhodes. That's
definitely all that. But who'd you just mention there? Who combatant?
KO.
Now there's something I want to talk about.
Well, let's talk about.
Holy hell, dude! So just at the onset of that whole thing, the first thing I remember you saying was the promo battles are going to be great.
Yep.
Well, shit, they didn't hold back on Friday, and they just gave us the very smallest taste of it.
You know what they gave me though Friday that I found interesting?
What's that?
They gave me the sense, and I think it is, but this is the part of being a wrestling fan that is fun, because you get to read into shit that you don't even know if it's true or not, but you get to read into it and you get to make up your own lore about what's going on, right? So what they gave me at the very beginning of this thing between them on Friday night, they gave me no mic, which means the conversation that was between them, even though we're in a coliseum full of people, it was just between them.
Yeah, it was something that
personal.
we weren't privy to.
We weren't privy because you couldn't read their lips.
I was going to say, everybody was in there trying to pull a word or two out of there. Like, what is he saying? What is he saying? Because you knew something was being said. And it wasn't, hey, let's go out and give him a good show, bud. It was something hell of a lot different than that.
And then Wade Barrett also added to the intrigue because Wade Barrett says, hey, there's some stories between these two guys that unfortunately management has told us we're not at liberty to discuss.
Yep.
And I'm
Which is Ring of Honor stuff that we know that we can't bring up. But,
so we all know what this is, though, right? The Ring of Honor stuff. We all know what
it does, though, is for the fans. So we all know what it is, right? But again, as I keep echoing, we're the small majority. We're the loud minority in this whole thing here. Most fans don't know what it is, but I bet you their asses are out there looking. They're looking now.
So let's give them the Cliff Notes version real quick of the Ring of Honor stuff.
All right. This is your segment, sir. You handle that because Ring of Honor, I'm like, ugh.
The Cliff Notes is the fact that when Ring of Honor was still considered indie, right? When both CM Punk was out there, wrestling his ass off, trying to make a name for himself, there was a new kid that showed up in Ring of Honor named Kevin Steen.
Okay.
Kevin Steen gets in the locker room and there's some jawing back and forth about, hey, man, why are you wrestling with a shirt on? Mm-hmm. He's like, well, it's just a shirt. If you want me to take it off, I'll take it off.
Yeah.
And then they got pissed and they were like, oh, no, you keep it on, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the word got to Punk because Punk is champ. Punk's leader of the locker room, so to speak, in Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Punk's like, I'll talk to him about it. Mm-hmm. Well, when he did, KO smarted off the way KO normally would smart off against somebody.
Yeah.
And then Punk allegedly reamed him a new asshole in the front of the locker room in front of the boys. Mm-hmm. So now there is some personal animosity between these two, all because Kevin Steen wanted to wrestle with a shirt on.
Yeah, so and here's the thing, right? They leaned into this on Friday a little bit, with the whole shorts and you're wearing your gear.
Yeah, you're wearing your gear, yeah.
Yeah, they leaned into
it.
But here's what I took away from it now. And me and you are at liberty to have this conversation because we're not body guys, right?
Correct.
Like we're not,
Y'all know me, a real person. I'm not a body guy.
Yeah, right. We ain't body guys. But
now, I might body somebody, but
so here's the thing though, right? Neither one of those two fat fucks, right?
Yeah,
Neither one of those are body guys either.
No.
So them going out there, Punk going out there and trying to disrespect Kevin Owens on his body type is the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, Punk's in better shape than KO as far as shape standards go.
Right.
But I remember 10 years ago when Triple H was embarrassing Punk because Punk's body don't look great either.
Right.
I think we would all agree Triple H at the time had a great body for wrestling. He was built, he was stacked up. He was bodybuilder-esque.
Right.
I don't want these two talking about body image. They make me feel bad on that because I'm like, our bodies look like their bodies. Well, fuck it. They're talking about it. That makes me feel self-conscious. But now I'm like, hold on. I was like, I'm looking at me and you, and I'm looking at them two, and I'm like, hell, twins, twinning. I'm like, what are we doing? But then, for those two guys to bring that in, they shouldn't have had that disagreement in Ring of Honor because, hell, Punk ain't the fashionista in nobody's world, right? He shouldn't be giving nobody advice on how to dress, on none of that, right? That's nowhere near his repertoire. And Kevin Owens shouldn't have been all, pissed off. Wrestling what you want to wrestle in. I want to look different than the other guys. That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
And it worked for him in WWE. When he came to WWE, I've heard Jim Cornette talk about Kevin Owens and how he doesn't look the part, and that's why he hadn't been world champ, blah, blah, blah. And then I look at Kevin and Jim Cornette, and I'm like, dude, you're one spaghetti meatball away from a heart attack. Shut up. This angle kind of pisses me off in that because of who's giving it. If it's the Ultimate Warrior telling you need to go work out, yeah, okay, right, I get it. But hell, you don't need to tell two non-gym rats have a gym rat conversation, and I damn sure don't need to hear a third-party manager who's a non-gym guy fucking telling them they're both in bad shape for wrestling. What the hell?
So the way that they started off in this conversation, though, it was just between them, which was really cool as hell, right? Mm-hmm. And then Adam Pearce, or was it Adam Pearce or was it Nick Aldis?
I think I was Nick.
So they starting to get in the ring.
I think both of them were out there though. Now that I'm thinking about it,
but they got in the ring. They got in between them though, and both of them kind of looked at management and going, "We don't need y'all. We're professionals. Right. We're and that right there, we're professionals." Mm-hmm. That right there, that's a dig. And
I was going to say, Punk was the one that said we're professionals. Right. He didn't. Kevin did. I think Punk was throwing shade at KO in some of that because he looks the part.
It's a dig though, and what it's really a dig at is the whole wrestling industry in total in regards to the words professional wrestling. We're not superstars. We're professionals. We're the professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
We wrestle. We scrap. That's so I think that was the dig. But then KO and how he presented himself in that whole conversation, never once got angry. His voice never once got elevated. He stayed even keel. Even when Punk was full of clout, was touting his whole best in the world stuff. It's great to be in blah, blah on a Friday. Like all of that, right?
Yeah.
KO just looks him dead in the eye and goes, I'm glad I'm not you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's not me going the way you're going. And I'm looking at that and I'm going, what does he really mean by that? Like, is he trying to he's psychologically trying to tear down Punk? Well,
so he is. So if you want to lean into that, now there was some more lines in this that I took away from. Just that I knew I caught. A lot of rumors going around lately, and I mean, I'm sure KO's not against leaning into that because we know he's active on social media.
Right.
But a lot of rumor, a lot of word going around that CM Punk's in kind of like that older guy that it's time to pass it's time for him to pass the mantle. But yeah, here he is as world champion.
Right.
Well, when we were having that conversation, I don't know if you caught it, but Punk at some point told him, he said, well, look, that don't work for me, brother. And I'm
he
like,
did say that line. I remember
and I'm
that now.
So Punk knows.
He went Hogan.
Which means he hears the words because that's who they're comparing him to, as Hogan.
Absolutely.
But if you know CM Punk for the last umpteen years, he's railed against how much he hated Hogan and how bad Hogan was to the business and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
But point is, now CM Punk's in that same age group that Hogan was when he was doing his NWO run.
True.
And CM Punk's doing the same shit Hogan did when he was in that NWO run because Punk is trying to hold on to that limelight. He's trying to hold his spot. Now, he's not trying to hold it to where Hogan is, where Hogan, I'm not going to work with that guy because he ain't ready. Right. I'm not going to, I do see CM Punk as more than willing, more than ready to work with the Trick Williams and the, and the Oberfemis and all those guys. I see him more than willing to do that, but fact of the matter is, at some point, Hogan was also ready. Hogan said, hey, I want to put Goldberg over.
Right.
I want to put this guy over. I want to do this for them because we need more stars to wrestle against. CM Punk is looking in the mirror right now. If we go back and watch 1998 Hogan, hopefully CM Punk sees that resemblance and he's looking like, oh shit, maybe I better check myself before I wreck myself in here, because what he's doing is he's in that role now, whether he liked it or not.
True.
The fact that he hears it, and I guess that he realizes it, I guess he's self-aware enough to see it, that he just grasped onto it and just played into it, great, but watch how far you play into that, because at this point now, I think he's further in it than he would have appreciated himself to be in 20 years ago. So we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, let's say 2008 to 2013 Punk would hate 2025 to 2026.
He would, because even how the championship just fell out of the sky,
exactly,
quote unquote. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I mean. As a whole, everything that Punk has done from 25 to 26, like I said, 2008 to 2013, Punk would hate the version of himself that he is now.
So there was one last thing that I want to talk about with this kind of altercation between the two, how it ended. It ended in a good old-fashioned pull-apart.
Of course.
But how did the pull-apart start?
Push.
KO pushed the shit out of Punk.
Which means, and I was wondering that because you were saying KO was calm and even keel, and I'm like, well, KO kind of got fired up at the end of it.
He flipped the switch.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it like this. KO is known to be this calculated individual. That's why, to me, they compare him a lot to Stone Cold. Stone Cold was very calculating.
Yeah.
Even though he was getting the ring, beat your ass,
yeah,
he had a method behind the madness, right? To me, KO has that method.
He does typically.
Psychologically, I think he broke Punk down. Physically, he got in Punk's head with that push. Now, knowing what we know about Punk, the next go-round is going to be vicious on the mic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He is going to tear KO to shreds.
Yeah. I just hope he doesn't at some point tell him about he's going to bury him next to his father.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah, I hope we don't get there.
No, so and that's what happened when you, and I, unfortunately I have to say it because I get it. That's what happens when you get to a certain age, right? You start making jokes that 25 years ago would have landed, right? It would have been great because Roman's dad was alive and we were in a different time and the world was a beast as a whole.
Right.
In 2026, though, with sensitivity and understanding and all that stuff, that kind of stuff ain't going to fly. So I need them to be vicious. I need them to, I want them to go viral. I want them to do all the things that happen in today's social world, but I also want them to be cognizant of what they're saying and make sure if they're going to say something, make sure it lands. Don't just say something for the purpose of saying something and then it crap the bed. If you're going to think of something creative to say, make sure it's a damn good creative that everybody can get, everybody can understand, and that'll nip you in the bud. Don't give us something that people are going to cringe at, because I don't want that surrounding this. I want them to be able to enjoy what they do on the mic against each other one-on-one, but play within the boundaries so that way there's no, again, cringe coming out.
Here's what I would kind of like to see come out of this going forward. I want to see whatever altercation they have with each other, I want it to be innovative.
Yeah.
Now, there was innovation in the conversations between Cody and KO, but there was management decisions on why that was done. The backlot brawl or the knockout outside of Cody's bus, the KO promos from his car.
Yeah.
That was all done to keep the crowd from booing Cody and cheering KO. We all know that. And that's all well and good. In this situation, though, you could tell crowd is 50-50.
Yeah.
The crowd they're split down the middle with these two guys.
Well, they had to know that with KO coming back. I mean, you haven't seen him in a year and a half. People aren't readily going to boo him right away.
But
hopefully they accounted for that.
I don't want every promo battle just to be the in the ring toe-to-toe.
No, it can't be that.
I need some creativity.
No, I'd be good with a split screen. Like, when they do the satellite thing, like, let's keep these guys apart. Because on a split screen, they can pretty much say whatever they need to say, and you don't have to worry about the repercussions. So you can go to whatever lengths on a split screen. I think they need to utilize that.
Give me a shot where they cross paths in the airport.
I mean, so they can definitely do. I don't know how they could pull that off nowadays.
What got me creative though about Cody though? Cody had that thing at Drew's house over Christmas,
So you can do a house because you can stage a house, right? When you do an airport, you can't stage an airport, which means that would have to be totally organic, and you'd have to find a way to not get fans involved. Because if I'm in an airport, if you're in an airport, and you see Cody and KO both in the same airport, you're like, oh, hell, this is happening. I'm right now. So now you're standing there, you're a fan in the moment, and I mean, the airport's like, what the hell are we doing here? TSA is like you're all going to jail. So I need them to be mindful when you do that kind of stuff.
So definitely interesting. I'm loving where this is going, but there's another story we need to talk about that I'm also very interested to see where this goes.
Story time.
And it's really not even a story yet.
Uh-oh.
It's just kind of forming. The table of contents is being written. The forward has been written. But the first chapter is yet to be told. And this is the pending story between Obafemi and Braun Breaker.
So there's backstory there, right? They've encountered each other before. And I mean, it was tense. When they encountered each other coming right out of SummerSlam, it was intense. I mean, I think they even alluded to it on Raw where they said, this was the face of the company, and now all of a sudden this is the face of the company, which we talked about previously too. We wandered off into it last week as well, where we said, hey, and we've said it over a couple of weeks now. Oba is where Braun was heading.
Yep.
He leapfrogged the line. Basically, Oba came up last, and now he's first in line for succession. And Braun kind of got overlooked.
So here's where I want to go with this. I know you may not get everything that I'm about to say, but if any of my fellow people out there that are Game of Thrones fans or House of the Dragon fans.
All right, time for drinking. This is your segment again. Time for drinking.
Let me give you my take on what's happening between Braun Breaker.
You're about to say like Gandalf or something.
No.
I'm going to be like, who?
So the story that is told in the House of the Dragon and in Game of Thrones was everybody is battling for the Iron Throne. Who is the true predecessor? Who is the true king of the Seven Kingdoms, so to speak? That is the battle between these two huge franchises. To me, this is the same battle. This is Braun Breaker looking at Obafemi going, I was the king who was promised. I was the one who was supposed to be the future. I was the one who was supposed to be where you're standing right now. And I want my spot back.
Yeah.
That's what I think is starting to unfold. And I also think the wrinkle of Paul Heyman is genius in this, because Paul is looking at Braun and going, I thought you were the guy. I thought you were the guy, but
a year ago we also thought that.
Everybody thought that. We thought you were the guy, but now
I mean, even though a year ago, so we've been touting Obafemi for about a year. So let's make sure to give the devil his due on this. But we've been saying for about a year, when that dude goes up to the main roster, he's gonna be the guy.
Yep.
And we were right. Just to make sure everybody knows, we called this shit a long time ago. Not to say we're geniuses, because I mean, Ray Charles could see this one coming. Right? This wasn't no shock.
True.
But in the same vein of thought, we were saying, man, but when he gets there, he'll do this. We were saying at the same time, Braun Breaker is there and he's going to do this. Yep. I mean, hell, a year ago, we were literally saying he's going to be main eventing WrestleManias down the road. Paul Heyman touted it. Everybody touted it. Well, Obafemi's already main evented a WrestleMania at this point. Obafemi's already main evented a SummerSlam at this point. He's ahead of all the other guys. And I mean, he's ahead of the Tricks. He's ahead of the Carmelos. He's ahead of the Braun Breakers. He's ahead of a whole lot of guys. But you have to understand why.
Yeah.
I mean, he brings to the table what nobody brings to the table, and there's nothing you can do with that. He's undeniable at this point.
So the conversation that Braun Breaker had with Paul Heyman Monday night really, to me, set the tone for what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get from Paul. He was like, what do you think? Do you think Oba's the future? Paul kept sidestepping and kept he would not answer that.
He was non-committal. You know, because we know what he said when Brock. I mean, after the Brock match, they made a point to show Paul Heyman shake Oba's hand.
Correct.
And the first week coming out of SummerSlam, that's what Braun told Paul. I thought that was your new guy. I thought you guys were buddy, blah, blah, blah. I think this week they had to lean into it. They had to actually address it. And Paul did the right thing where he wouldn't address it. Paul said, I'm not saying nothing. Because, again, what we know about Paul Heyman is he's always looking for the next guy.
Yep.
And he never wants to burn a bridge that don't need to be burned. And I ain't mad at him, because he's looking at that Obafemi bridge and he's like, hell, that may become a drawbridge at some point. I better be on the right side of this when that damn thing gets pulled up. Otherwise, my ass is done.
But what he had to say to Braun Breaker was, I respect Obafemi.
Mm-hmm.
But until you give me a reason not to respect him, I stand my case.
Yeah.
And Breaker walks away from that conversation, and I'm looking at it now going, oh shit, Oba better watch his back, his left side, right side, top, bottom. Better watch everything, because Braun Breaker is about to beat the ever-loving shit out of Obafemi.
I don't know about that part. I think he's going to try. I think he's going to try.
I think you're going to see him do just like he did with Brock. I think you're going to see him take the ass whooping, but he's going to get up.
Okay. And
the conversation will not finish with him laying in a pool of his own blood or can't get up. I think he'll get up and answer the call. I think this between him and Braun Breaker is the next big rivalry within the WWE.
Oh, I see this. So
this is 15, 20-year rivalry.
The WWE Rivalries TV show. I see this hitting that at some point.
Yep.
I see this being the main event of some WrestleMania down the road at some point. I see, again, this is the things that legends are made of here out of this. What I don't see happening is it leading off with a Obafemi ass woman. I think they keep these two guys as far apart from each other physically as they can for as long as they can.
I don't know. They've built it now to where Paul has told Braun, you got to do something.
Yeah, but what he's got to do is beat him. I mean, hell, beating him down means nothing, because if you get in the ring with him and you lose, then it's all for nothing.
How do you beat Obafemi in a match when Oba just came off of whipping Brock Lesnar's ass?
Now you're getting it. He's not. That's why they have to keep those guys as far apart from it. If you're going to try and get Braun Breaker to the level where Obafemi's already reached, you can't have either one of them lose. So you got to keep them apart as far as you can. Put them in some tag nonsense. Maybe they wander themselves into the War Games match together and they square off a little bit in that. And
what if we get an angle
at the Royal Rumble? Maybe they do that, but they don't wrestle.
What if we get an angle where it's the Jade Cargill angle, like somebody beat him down backstage, but they don't show who it
could be something like that. But no matter how they get there, they can't. Those two don't wrestle. You don't put those two on TV at Saturday night's main event or some nonsense like that,
right?
Because somebody's going to have to DQ, somebody's going to have to cheat, somebody's going to have to do something, and it's going to take away from the credibility of here's what we need to main event this event. Here's the 2 guys we need to do it. We've already fudged it up down the road because we did it on a Shotgun Saturday Night nonsense thing. We don't do that. You just you tease the tension, you do as best as you can, and then you keep them away from.
So this is rinse and repeat. This is what this is. It's rinse and repeat.
It's always rinse.
This is Brock Roman. This is John Randy.
Yeah.
This is Edge Randy. I mean, it's rinse.
It is
repeat.
those, but before we jump too far, but it is those, but it's also rinse and repeat with Charlotte and Jade because they teased them bumping heads for 3 years now. Essentially, they have circled around each other, but they never got to the match. Well, now they ended up having the match as a throwaway on a damn SmackDown somewhere.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
And then the match didn't turn out to actually put out either. So, I mean, it was a loss.
I'm almost wondering if somebody didn't know that the match was going to turn out that way, and that's why it wound up on a blowaway SmackDown show.
It could be that, or I think at this point, I think there's more to it on the whole injury thing and the Rhea thing. I think they're so invested in Rhea over there that they're just kind of like, whatever else fills the spot or whatever else fills the space, we'll just use it to fill the space.
Also, as we close, interesting that the conversation came back around to those two twice when they were not even on our program notes. Interesting.
There's more meat on the bone to talk to on as far as that goes. Definitely.
There he is. All right, everybody. A little short and sweet episode today, but thank you for listening to the podcast. Go out on our social media platforms. Tell us what your thoughts are on these stories. Again, next week, remember, we won't have a fresh new episode next week, but go back in the archives, take some time, listen to some of the older stuff. Hell, even go back to episode 1 if you want to and hear how we sounded in our infancy.
You got 2 weeks to catch up. You can listen to them all over again.
But thank you for listening to today's show. We appreciate you, and we bid you adieu.
Peace. Ooh, and speaking of meat on the bone,
today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.